What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the traditional pocket knives exclusive Spearpoint Hedgehog. Now this is, of course, the QSP Hedgehog, and this is a traditional pocket knives exclusive variation of it. They have also done variations of the standard Hedgehog with the Wharncliffe / sheepsfoot style blade, but recently they came out with the Spearpoint, and man, oh man, this thing is fantastic. You guys know I'm not the biggest Slipjoint collector. I have two in the collection right now, but honestly, this really makes me want to get one of these. Just with the titanium and the saw cut milling on here, I love a good Spearpoint. This thing is just fantastic. The pull strength is definitely the strongest pull strength and spring on a slip joint that I've ever handled. It's just a really good bang for your buck, great value. They were, the traditional pocket knives first run, really anything. This is their second run of the Hedgehog from QSP. They have the Ohio River Valley Jack, the Appalachian Ridge Runner, and the Champlain, I think. They have three different variations of their own slip joint they have done, and then they've done two with QSP. They're just fantastic values, and I think this one right here is arguably the best value on the market. I like the Spearpoint better than the Wharncliffe. I don't know, there's just something about it. It's just so lightweight. Again, the saw cut titanium feels incredible. So we're going to get right into the review, go over the materials, specs, all the things you guys know I do here on the channel for reviews. I'm going to leave a link down below to TPK's website if you guys are interested. I think there are still some in stock, but there's like 10 versions. I'm not going to click on every one and try to see. I do know that this specific version is currently sold out, which sucks a little bit if you guys are interested in this specific one like I am. But yeah, you have a Spearpoint satin S90V blade. Really cool. I love that a lot of production companies are starting to utilize S90V a lot. It's really developed into one of my favorite steels. Just really great all around. But you have a fuller on both sides to grab onto when you're pulling it. QSP logo there on the blade, as well as the pivot. And then you have a bolster line right there, a couple of those. You have a lanyard hole. You have, of course, the whole spring on the back spacer. And then you have this really awesomely cut saw cut milling there on the side. Diagonal feels really good. There's a slight bit of contour. Oops, I dropped the blade. There's a slight bit of contouring there. I'll close the blade. On the handle scales, I don't know if you guys can sense it or not, but it feels really good in hand. Some specs: you get a closed length or handle length of 3.77 inches. You get an open length of 6.69 from tip to butt. You get a width of 0.40. This is also hollow grind, which is really, really cool. I forgot to mention that earlier. So thin, so slicey. You get a blade length of 2.91. You get a cutting edge of 2.62. The pull strength is an 8 out of 10, which normally the ones that I have handled before are like a 6 to 7. So again, this is the strongest one I've ever handled. It comes in weighing 2.7 ounces. So this thing, like I said, is a featherweight. It feels so good in the hand. I've really, really enjoyed, hanging out with this knife. And like I said, there are a lot of different variations of this. I think there's, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. So there are two titanium versions. You have the saw cut one here, and then you have the jig tie, which traditional pocket knives has done a ton of versions of on a lot of different knives. Then you have, so they're all satin blades. I will preface with that. Then you have a dark matter fat carbon. You have a dark matter red. So you get a dark matter red, or excuse me, a dark matter glow fat carbon, a dark matter red fat carbon, a dark matter copper fat carbon, a dark matter purple fat carbon, a dark matter orange fat carbon, a dark matter blue fat carbon, a dark matter gold, and a dark matter green. And actually, I take that back. They're all unavailable. So they're all sold out, but I'll still leave a link to them down below if you guys are interested in going over and seeing, not only, looking at these, but seeing what other exclusives they have. The Lake Champlain, You have the other exclusive Hedgehogs, which are currently still available. You have exclusive Penguins. You have the Nip Slips from there, from Devo Knives. Then you have the Ohio River Jacks. You got a ton, the Appalachian Ridge Runner. You got so much stuff over there to look at if you're into traditional, slip joints and everything like that, which is really, really cool. So I'll still leave a link down below if you're interested. But as far as materials are going, we're going to go 5 out of 5. Hollow grind S90V Spearpoint blade, beautiful saw cut titanium. Really good walk and talk, great strength on the pull. Just a nice little package here in a slip joint for materials wise. So we're going to go 5 out of 5. Next up is the aesthetic. I'm just going to write down a 5 already. I mean, you guys have heard me say how much I enjoy looking at this knife. Just so thin and slicey, and just has really good lines. And you guys know I'm a big fan of spear points in the right way, and this just looks fantastic. So I'm not going to sit here and gush over it and talk about it too much, but 5 out of 5 easily on the aesthetic. Now we come to action, and I'm not going to lie, this took me by surprise a little bit when I first unboxed this. It definitely takes a little bit of muscle to get it out of there. Again, an 8 out of 10 on a pull, and you guys can hear. The walk and talk, definitely, you have to get, used to it rubbing on your fingers a certain way, because, again, it's a strong spring. Rip the blade off here. And it just, it takes a little bit of effort to get the blade out. But honestly, I really like that. It feels really good. It's so snappy. Think of this as like a really strong D10. And for those out there that, love a strong D10, I think that you would love the way this knife walks and talks, when you're comparing a folder to a slip joint. And again, I'm not a slip joint expert. I've only, I don't specialize in slip joints. I just know a good slip joint when I feel one. And this is a damn good slip joint. I'm going to go 5 out of 5 with the action. I definitely could see it being a little bit too much for people, but I mean, you get the knife in and you get used to it. All of you out there watching that are knife nuts have had knives before that, when you flick it open a bunch during the day, your fingers get ate up a little bit. Everyone out there, we've all done it. It's all happened to us. But eventually your fingers just get used to, manipulating it in the way that it has to be manipulated. And it gets used to, that roughness on wherever this, whatever point it's contacting you, it gets used to that. I think it's really good. I think that, you just get used to it as you carry it, as you use it, as you manipulate it, as you play with it, all the things. I think it's a great action. Very fun to play with. We'll just move right into acoustics. As good as the action is, I'm not prepared to give the acoustics a 5 out of 5. They're still very good, but honestly, with how strong and how much effort it takes you to get this knife pulled out, I was honestly expecting a little bit more. Like I said, don't get me wrong, this is still very, very good acoustically. You're still getting those nice, you're still getting those, and I love that. But I'm going to go 4.5. I think if it was just a little bit more high-pitched, or you get a little bit of ringiness in there, I'm not prepared to give it a 5. I do think a 4.5, though, is a good score for it. You guys know 4.5s in the acoustic category here on 814 ADC. Those are pretty good sounds coming from a knife. So we're going to go 4.5 and leave it at that. Next up is Ergos. Again, super thin knife. Very, very comfortable in hand. The saw cut milling it's not, it's very light milling. I can definitely feel it in my grip, but it's not, overly aggressive enough to where it's going to be aiding you that much in, your grip of this knife. And one other good thing too, positive thing with this being such a good, strong pull is I would consider this. So, I'll show you here my Jack Wolf, my Venom Jack. So I think this comes in at like a 7, 6 or 7, because this, honestly, now that I've been fidgeting with that, this thing is coming out pretty light. But you can see when I have it open, I have enough thumb strength in when I'm using this knife. I have enough thumb strength to I've never closed this on myself, and I know better because it's a slip joint, obviously. But I can move the blade around with my thumb. Well, here, I mean, you can, but it is honestly, I'm putting a lot of effort into that, which is an added benefit of it being, you know, safe and secure. Gotta keep wiping this off because all the schmutz I'm getting on there. But it's just really good. So you know, when you're doing cuts through it, you know that you're not going to like slam the knife down on yourself. Which again, you know, you're using slip joints, so you're aware of that to begin with. But I just thought that was something extra that I could add in there for you guys. That might be knowledge you would like to know. Where were we? Ergos, yes. Very comfortable. I can get all 4 fingers in the knife very, very easily. It's not a big knife, so I think if you have like real big mitts, you would definitely not be, you know, well versed in getting one of these. Maybe looking at one of the other bigger slip joints that TPK has offered. Like I think their Appalachian Ridge Runner, excuse me, is, you know, a 3.5-inch blade, so you're going to get a lot more handle to rest your big paws on. But for my hands, very, very comfortable. Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, it's so simple, so clean, so thin, just fantastic ergonomically. So we're going to go 5 out of 5 on the ergos. And same thing with carry. I'm going to go 5 out of 5 on that as well. Not really much to talk about there. You know, you get this thing in a custom slip. Like, I did carry it, and I bounce it back and forth. Between so I have my slip joints, I have my Venom Jack here, which I got a custom Duty's Dagger slip on it, which I've shown you guys before with my wedding date on it, because the Venom Jack is what I carried when I got married. So I keep that in here now. And then I carry my Case Sodbuster Jr. that I picked up from the Case store in Bradford when I went to vacation. I carry it in my Jack Wolf slip that I used to carry my Venom Jack in. So I did carry this the few times that I carried it. I carried it in both slips, but honestly, it's just it's a thinner knife compared to the 2 that I already have, especially with this now being in here. It really has puffed out the sides, and you guys can see I'm letting go of it, and it's bouncing right out. Like, it's not even, it's basically just free floating in there. I don't know if you guys can see it moving around a little bit. So I tried to carry it in that a few days. Didn't really work too well. And similar to this too, like they're not really, and I know a slip's not made to keep knives specifically in there, but this was a little bit better for because it was a little bit thinner and, you know, it wasn't bounced out as much. You know, my point in explaining all this to you is once you get a good slip joint, or if you get the slip joint, get a good slip for it, which I think there was some sold on the website. Duty, actually, let me check here. I know Duty is a big, him and Austin over at TPK have a lot of partnerships and stuff like that. Let me try to look here, because now I'm curious. There's a lot of slips on the website. I would just go over there and look, or, you know, if you want to contact Duty's Daggers on Instagram, or oh, my phone. This dang tripod, I need to get a new one. That was part of my New Year's resolution, to get some new equipment for the channel, which I'm going to do. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But long story short, where was I talking about? Oh, get a good slip for it. It carries very well. And even if you just want to bounce this thing in your pocket, again, so thin, so lightweight, so small, pretty much disappears into the fist of my hand. Easy 5 out of 5. This thing is just sliding. See if that works. 5 out of 5 on the carry. Can't, you know, say enough good things about how well, and just such a nice thing just to slide down in your pocket, to be a secondary, primary, whatever you want to do with it. But that brings me to my final category of price point / would I recommend this knife / value. Like I said, I think that this is the best slip joint value on the market. I think anyone you get, not that I've only checked out a few of them from TPK, but you want to get this one. You want to look at maybe the Warncliffe or the sheepsfoot version of the Hedgehog. You want to look at the Appalachian Ridge Runner. You want to look at the Langshan Plain, the Barlows and things like that. Fantastic value, but I think these specifically, you get this for $145. You're telling me that you can get S90V in a hollow ground blade, beautiful Spearpoint blade, S90V satin, beautiful saw cut titanium, $145. The craftsmanship that QSP has done with these, QSP has really started making a mark for themselves in the slip joint world. Like I know Kevin and Colin did the nip slips with them. They make a great slip joint for a solid price. 5 out of 5 on the value. Like I can't recommend this enough. I'm not saying I'm gonna go pick one of these up, but I think if I ever got the itch for another slip joint in the collection, which this thing has given me that itch a little bit, I would definitely not hesitate to go get one of these. Maybe when they come around with another run of them, or if they restock these ones. I just think for the price, $145 is fantastic. And I think there's some codes out there that can get you a little bit more money off, but just a fantastic value. Really, can't recommend it enough. And I think that, if you're looking for a high-end slip joint, maybe if you don't want to jump up to the Jack Wolfs right away, this is a fantastic, not just a starter slip joint, but this is just a slip joint that you want to have in your collection, in general. It's just fantastic, great action, great ergos, great carryability, great materials, great fit and finish, great walk and talk. All the things, fantastic. 5 out of 5 on the value / what I recommend / everything I talk about. And I don't even have to add this up because we are coming in at a 34.5 on the Spearpoint Hedgehog. Almost a perfect knife. If the acoustics were just a smidge better, this would be the first perfect knife of 2025. But it is so damn close, and honestly, acoustics are just a small nitpick anyway. So really, this is a perfect knife to a lot of people. But it's really good. I really enjoyed getting to check it out. And, it's hard to believe, but I'm going to miss a slip joint once I send it off to the next person this week. But yeah, so this was my full review of the QSP Spearpoint Hedgehog, a traditional pocket knives exclusive. Huge shout out to Kevin over at Lefty DC for allowing us to always check out really cool stuff. Huge shout out to you guys as well for, all your support, your likes, your comments, your subscribes. Keep it up. We're gonna keep trudging forward into 2025, and it's gonna be a big year for myself, hopefully, and a lot of other EDC channels out there. But I'm gonna wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, day, night. Whenever you're watching this, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.